Hello everybody, this is a doctor. Today is Typical Manga Fan, and we're doing a typical manga review in this video. This one's going to be something a little bit different from what we've done so far. Mostly we've been doing shonen or action type series, Attack on Titan, One Piece, etc. This time we're doing a very different kind of series in many senses of the phrase, Inside Mari. Or you might, yeah. In the series, let's see here, I'm trying to think. It looks like it's something of a body swap story at first, but as this chapter and others suggest, there may be something very different going on. The basic premise is a guy named Isao, who is basically Isao, I-S-A-O, who's basically your typical hikikomori loser type person, otaku, etc. He harmlessly stalks a girl that visits the store he works at named Mari. Like, he watches her, follows her, etc. Nothing that never actually does anything. He's at least decent enough for that part of it. But moving along. One day he wakes up and he is Mari. He has no idea how this happened. And the plot of the story is basically him and another girl who works it out, Yori, trying to find out what the hell happened and trying to get Mari back somehow. But as we'll go over in detail as we go along the chapter, there are little things that suggest there's something very different going on.
Yeah.
Yeah, in this case we are on chapter, what chapter number is this?
42.
42, thank you. Yep.
You can find it on Crunchyroll, and unfortunately with Crunchyroll we can't go back, although we can find the sources, obviously.
Yeah.
And the other title of it's called Boku wa Mari no Naka. If you guys if you guys are not
familiar with the English name.
Yeah,
Actually, I meant to bring that up myself. I was trying to remember. I meant to have it up before we started. I screwed up on that. Anyway, we open up with Isao again. Isao as Mari. Isao is in the body of a high school girl, basically getting dressed for the day. Just makeup. He got taught how to do makeup, so he's all dolled up. And he and Yori are going out for the day. Her mother tells Yori to keep an eye out on Mari, which I'm not sure is just a general thing, or just because like Isao has been kind of showing that like mental issues with her, like, or at least what she's taken as that. Again, that's something we might go into detail in a little bit later here. Like I said, they're just going about their day. They stop for lunch because Mari hasn't eaten yet at a restaurant that or Isao hasn't went to back when he first started college. It's just like a Western place. They go in and order, etc. Actually, one thing here, like page 10, where we see their food. It's kind of funny. Like there was like reading this chapter like on another site, and there was a comment that said that food is as Western as Taco Bell is Mexican.
I know, right? Let's read it. I can read it. So, hamburger steak with cheese and on top, hamburger steak with egg on top, hamburger steak with cheese and egg on top, hamburger steak with fried seafood,
spam, scrambled eggs, spam, and spam.
And on the bottom, even though some is covered, it's some curry with hamburger steak.
Pepsi, chips, no fries, just chips and Pepsi. And hamburger.
This one's called rice pilaf and pork tenderloin.
And you probably don't know either of the things I was quoting right there, do you?
Yeah.
Well, I'll give you links later if I can.
And then this combo meal.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Okay, so they're just talking about which one they would eat, and Mari is like, oh, I'm gonna call her. I guess I'll call her Isao. Isao's like, it's been too long. And she digs in and eats, and my gosh, the food looks awesome. Food's good.
Yeah, you like the food.
And she even says it's good. See? Yeah. She agrees with me.
Yeah. I still say you should at some point read Silver Nina, because there's a lot of that going on in that series. But moving along, like I said, they're having a good time, they're having their food. Even Yori's like breaking out of her shell a little bit to say it's good.
And she's like breathing into her mouth because it's so hot.
Yeah.
I do that too, holy shit. I even do the mouth thing too when it's so hot. I close my my mouth with my hand and just like breathe into it. That's
right. After lunch, they're at a playground. Isao gets her a drink. They're just kind of sitting there talking.
And they're basically saying like, has Yoshisaki-san called you?
Yeah, this was part of a chapter for a little while ago where apparently Isao got a call from Mari on his phone from out of nowhere, but the number was on the call was withheld and it has not heard anything since, which is what he tells Yori here.
Yeah, and so he believes it's Mari,
Yeah.
And essentially they're watching this this mother like basically take care of her son,
Yeah.
play with her son. And it's kind of weird. So she's like, no, Mari hasn't called. And she's like, there's no point in apologizing to me because I'm not Mari.
Well, in this case,
And
I
she's like,
think Isao apologizing because he hasn't heard from Mari, or is he apologizing for like the argument they had earlier?
I don't know. I think it's because I think it's because of the argument I had earlier.
Yeah, I figured that's what I was assuming.
But it sets me because maybe you were right that you and I are the same, and how we just looked far away, and that I am a worthless human being. I just have a supporting role at best. You do have a
Oh,
supporting role.
and this is Yori speaking, by the way,
Yeah, this is Yori. Mari, and she's talking about her big sister Mari.
who's also got
Always,
the same name.
yeah, always plays the lead. She said minor characters can't interfere. What? Seriously? Wow. She said minor characters can't interfere, and I've tried to stay within the bounds of my role. Why would a sister say that to? That's ridiculous.
Well, I mean, it depends on their relationship. You never
Well,
know.
I mean, the thing is, when we met her, she was nice, and she even said, "I hope you have friends," or "I hope you get along with that girl." So I didn't think I expected her to say something like that.
Well, maybe Yori's taking it the wrong way, or maybe it was like she's matured since he said that. We don't know.
I kept everyone at a distance. I haven't let anyone in. I protected myself. So she's kind of like a Hikamori herself in a way.
Yeah.
But that's why when Mari hugged me in the school nurse's office, it was the first time anyone came close to me, and it made me so happy. Yeah, Mari hugged her.
Yeah.
In the school bed.
At minimum.
It implies that nothing else was done.
Yeah, true.
And yet I just watched it happen from far away. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, blah, 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 Yori-san. And then here's the big thing, and I noticed this too. Mari, or Isao, it's Isao / Mari,
Yeah.
don't you remember what Mari said to you then? Let's lie down here together again sometime. I'm sure she was just as happy as you were. And then Yori's like, wait a second. How do you know that? How do you know that Mari said that to me? I didn't tell you that. And this is what Mari's like, huh?
Right. And there's a couple of ways that this could be meant. Like, I went back to the scene where this full thing with lying down with Mari got first mentioned, which was, I think, chapter 14. And in that scene, Yori gets into bed with Mari, basically Isao Mari, and she kind of says something similar to that, but doesn't quite use the exact phrasing, which I'm assuming is what Mari Isao is doing here, since it's in quotation marks. Of course, that might be an issue. Maybe the translator's not realizing that was going to be important later.
Okay.
Otherwise, what we have here is Isao saying something that he should not possibly have been aware of.
Yeah. So basically, I kind of expected this to happen,
Right.
and I think the manga. I think one of the issues with this manga is that he actually kind of gives too many hints about what I think is happening, and that I think maybe this is a sign that it's kind of like a coming on kill. It's starting to end, it's starting to kind of wrap things up.
Maybe.
Yeah. Well, I will say this though. So do we want to get into our theories about who Mari is and all that?
Well, like I said, with this whole scene, I came up with. There's 3 things I can think of like right offhand. Like I said, assuming it is Isao there. He's somehow possibly tapping into Mari's memory, maybe because it's in her body. That's theory number 1. Theory number 2 is that Mari is still inside that body with Isao, which would explain a lot of that one scene in the kissing in the mirror thing a little while back. You think about it.
I always thought that scene was a metaphor, to be honest with you.
Well, still, I mean, yeah, it could be a metaphor, or if you take it more literally, it could also be that.
Yeah, I'm not going to take it literally. I'm just going to take it a metaphor.
Yeah. The third one I can't take credit for. I actually read it on TV Tropes, and I was looking at their My Lives May Vary page, which mentioned that it's basically Mari never left. Like, it's been Mari all along, and she just got some psychological issues.
Yeah, okay, so...
And I think that's the theory you favor as well. And there's a couple things I can kind of think of as well that favor that, too.
I don't even just favor it. I am strong-arming it. Yeah, this theory I came up with around chapter, 10. I did read a lot of the comments, and they kind of supported it as well. So I have a friend at school who reads this manga, too, and I also recommend this to her. So I'm obviously been pushing this manga to, what I know.
Yep.
It's because it's so psychological. I love it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, you better read it.
Well, I did.
Yeah, good. Thanks for that. And so my theory is that Mari never left, and here's why. What we do know about Mari is that there are 3 Maris so far in the story, in terms of perception base.
Yeah.
So we have the perfect Mari, who everyone adores and loves. Now we
the
all know
idol.
the school. We all know that this Mari is not real. So that leads us to the second Mari. The second Mari is the Mari that Yori knows.
Yep.
And that's the kind of seductive Mari,
Yeah.
the one who's
The
kind of
one
like
that
mysterious.
lied in the nurse's bed with her.
Yeah, and also the same Mari who seems to be stalking Isao, the one who seems to be
Oh,
who's kind of a weirdo in a sense too.
yeah.
And then there's the third Mari. You were saying?
Oh, wait, that's the third Mari? Because there's School
No, no,
Idol
no, no.
Mari, there's Yori Mari, and
No,
then
that's the second Mari. And the third Mari is the. I assume. Oh, you're right. The third Mari is that. The third Mari is the one that goes. Okay. Well, actually, no. To me, there are four Maris. I just realized that. Okay.
yeah,
So
because we got School Idol Mari, we have Yori Mari, we have Stalker Mari.
I think it's because I didn't count the first Mari because I knew the first Mari is confirmed to be fake. It's a fast.
Right. I mean, that's just like her outside
Yeah.
appearance.
So, but
That's her Umaro, basically.
yeah. Okay. So if you include that, then there's actually four Maris. The third Mari is the one that's like a pervert, basically. She
Yeah.
likes reading porn books. She likes, she likes playing video games. Which is not a perverted thing to do, but it seems like she's basically copying Isao.
Yeah.
And then the fourth one is Isao, the Isao Mari, the one inside Mari's body.
Right. The
And
one we've
I
been seeing
believe-
this whole time.
Yeah, and it is my personal belief that Mari never left because first off, we have to understand here that if you read some of his works, like apparently I heard this shares a universe with the Flowers of Evil,
Yeah.
and if it does share a universe with Flowers of Evil, then that means that there's no supernatural anything in this manga. If there's no supernatural anything, then what it comes down to is it's Mari all along with psychological issues, and
Right.
there's a lot of clues as to why it's Mari. So the first one is Mari's been basically copying everything that Isao does.
Right. You've been
She's
watching her, and
she's been stalking him.
yeah, she got a bad case of the grass is always greener.
Exactly, and and I think she just hated her life, and it seems like she wanted to be as far away from her identity as possible.
Right.
And no, she like knows everything she knows about him. I mean, he knows about himself. She knows about him because she basically stalked him to death.
Right.
But it's not because of a crush. It's because she wants to be him because she loves his freedom, and that's the first clue. The second hint is that Isao is the guy in Isao's body is still Isao. Like there's still an Isao out there. So, and this is the guy who's never seen Mari before. He has never stalked her, which
which suggests that maybe the whole thing with Mari and him stalking Mari is pretty much like something she concocted in her own mind.
Which will play. I will leave that to my last theme. Just keep that noted for a sec. But yeah, and the fact that he doesn't know who she is kind of implies that it supports the theory that she's been stalking him, but it also shows that that they've never been in contact before. So there's no way there's a switch. I don't think there's a switch that happened, because some people argue that maybe it's Mari inside there, but the fact is she seems so genuinely surprised about this Mari person, and he wasn't even interested in her at first. He's not like, oh, this pretty girl. So which shows me that Isao is already different than the Isao that we know, because this Isao, the one we know, loves Mari, like
adores her
as like the perfect figure. When so that's why it's already different, because this Isao doesn't seem interested at all, or until later, of course. And then can you hear me?
Yes, you broke up a little bit there, but I can hear you.
Okay. So yeah, so it seems like this Isao is different. This Isao is different, which kind of shows you that Mari. It's from Mari's point of view. So that's the second clue. I think it was the second clue.
Yeah.
The third clue is that her mother. And the fact that others seems to be, and her parents actually, her parents seem to be strange. Her father seems to be like into her sexually. At least it gives hints like that.
And that was mentioned in TV tropes as well, actually.
Yeah, because he's like, "Hey, Mari, can you come over for a sec?" And then when her mom came in, he's like, "Oh, never mind." So what does that? Does imply?
Yeah.
Her mother seems, and I remember because Mari broke down when she got kissed by the other guy.
Yeah.
She broke down, and then, but at the same time, her mother kind of felt it's like she was used to it, as if she kind of like knew this was coming.
She had medicine. That would explain it. Of course. Right after that, you remember mother was giving her medicine, trying to give her drugs, but there's been no sign that they'd been to a doctor or a therapist or anything.
Yeah, exactly. There you go. See, and then she's trying to get Mari to help with friends. And another thing is that well, let's see. Mari knows that. What I don't know that can she actually recall anything that Isao knows from before college? Because that's something that Mari can't ever know.
I don't know. I was looking. she seemed to be aware of his backstory at least, but actually I was kind of pulling up the first chapter and kind of looking at that as well. And one thing I noticed, just kind of like early in that chapter, like around page 1920, it looks like here, while he's going to work or getting ready to stalk Mari, he passes by a happy family with a little girl.
Okay.
I don't know, just something I just took note of.
And is that in the dream?
I don't know. This is happening like right before the switch happens. This is like
okay,
chapter
so
1.
That's the dream, basically.
Yeah.
Oh, and in fact, is that family look like Mari? Or
Mom and dad and a little girl with black hair and pigtails. I could. I don't have to zoom in.
maybe it's her. Maybe because I think one thing that is that dream is kind of like the when it was kind of refiguring the personalities,
Right.
and that how it's maybe that's the part of her life where she actually does like, you know, the one that she remembers being happy.
Yeah.
And the fact that she doesn't seem happy. That's the thing. Everything she says is that she hates her life. She says that in her note. She said that her friends obviously are bitches, so you
Yeah.
can tell that she hates them. And it seems to me that she has every reason to basically try to change into a cell and to kind of escape from reality. And of course, I think I did talk about the whole Isao never meeting her thing. And I remember one time when she was quote unquote she was basically masturbating. There was a scene in which it kind of showed as if a dark shadowy figure was having sex with her.
Right.
And that's
kind of what made me wonder, like, if there was still an actual switch going on, if they were actually in the same body at some point. Still.
No.
But like I said, I may be taking it too literally. But go ahead.
Yeah. I saw that as a metaphor in the sense that even though she was masturbating, because she has two personalities, in a way, it was like she was having sex with someone else because of her two personalities. As in, Isao was having sex with Mari's body, even though it's just Mari with herself. And that was kind of seen as a metaphor. It was showing her two personalities. And here's another thing. Mari... Okay, so I feel like I'm forgetting something about the whole thing about Isao never meeting, because I know I mentioned a lot about it, but I kept staying with that type of topic because I felt like I was trying to say something. I can't remember right now. Maybe I'll remember it later.
I don't know.
But
at the very least, it seems like Mari has concocted this whole relationship between her and Isao all in her own head.
Yeah.
And that's something I've actually seen before. Like, there's like a episode of Law and Order Special Victims Unit where a guy was stalking a symphony musician, and he had this whole relationship concocted, and it was even though they had never actually met face to face once at all.
Yeah, and that's what I think. So I think the final thing is, it seems to me that Mari's coming back, the true Mari. Because here's the thing about this. Here's the thing, when she jerked off
Isao,
like real Sao, what you notice about real Sao is that she, instead of, you know, trying to, like, she saw it as gross. It's kind of a weird thing. It's like she said it was gross when she jerked him off.
I'll admit, I've kind of skimmed over those chapters.
Yeah, but I read the bubbles.
Is that what they're calling it now?
That was okay. Well, okay. All right. But she said it was gross, and me and my friend were talking about this. She's coming back. That's not the type of reaction Isao would normally have when doing that, and she wouldn't even try to jerk him off at all.
Yeah.
Like so.
So we're kind of getting a glimpse of perv Mari again. And
then I think this is real Mari. Whoever Mari is, I think this is real Mari. And no, it's not even perv Mari. I think this is just real Mari. And the thing is, and then the fact that she remembers this type of information, that's something only Mari could know, as in the real, well, maybe not the real Mari, but the Mari before Isao.
Right.
The only way is that she's starting to come back, for whatever reason, and I think maybe it has to do with I don't know. I forgot. There was like some type of situation that caused her to come back.
Right.
Maybe
she's
it was
been taking her meds.
Maybe it was the kiss that caused her to break, because she broke down after that, and she kept telling herself, "I am Isao," and then her mother didn't seem to do anything about it. But yeah.
At first I thought she had just taken some kind of breakdown, or maybe like just like maybe like some kind of transgender or something like that. I mean, like I said, she had the medicine ready. Well, for what you said, I just realized it's very possible this is not the first time this has happened.
Yeah, and it seems to me that one will wonder what was so special about that day, the day they switched, quote unquote switched. What was so special about that day? You know, why was it that day in which they switched? Did she hypnotize herself? You know, what? Because you can't forget.
What made it happen? Yeah.
Yeah. Because honestly, but I don't think that matters though. I mean, you could honestly, this manga could explain it any way. You know, hypnotism. You know, her subconsciously trying to destroy her memories. Anything could happen. You know,
something traumatic.
Yeah, probably. You know, what was it called? Those
repressed
repressed memories. There you go. Yeah. And here's my final theme about. I told you to remember the fact that about that concocted dream. Me and my friend were talking about how Mari is actually what we think is a narcissist. It's because think about it.
Like the way Isao always describes her as like this shining angel.
Yeah, but remember, this description comes from herself. That's the C. So that's the big thing. That description didn't come from Isao. It came from herself.
Right. I mean,
well, assuming of course that our theory is true. Just put out there. If this is really Isao, then this is actually just a part of her personality that's making it. So it's like her subconscious telling herself that she's perfect. And the fact that in her dream, who is stalking her? She's stalking herself, basically, right?
Actually, worth noting is that basically she's telling her that Mari, quote unquote, is perfect.
Yeah, but remember, if this is true, then her subconscious basically knows she's Mari. So in a way, she's kind of saying to herself that she is perfect. And keep in mind that she concocted a dream in which she, as Isao, was stalking herself. Keep in mind. And here's another thing: who is the person who she's been hanging out with the most in this manga? Who is the person she's been hanging out the most?
Do you mean Yori?
Yes. Who is Yori? A stalker.
Who is in? Oh, so she incorporated Yori into the fantasyness, so to speak.
Yeah, but keep in mind that she's basically hanging out with people she's only been sticking with people who she thinks is or knows is stalking her. And it's ironic because she doesn't even want to be in a way she doesn't even want to be herself. So it's kind of one of those weird ironies in which this narcissistic person doesn't want to be herself because she's trying to change her identity into Isao.
Of course, that would kind of like defeat that would mean she's not really as narcissistic as all that, because that's what a narcissist is.
I think.
But I see what you're saying there. I
think what's happened is that she realized that she was, or subconsciously she realized she was a narcissist and didn't like it. Because sometimes you realize something about yourself and you don't like it, but you still are that whatever that. So I think subconsciously she realized that she not only did she hate her life, but that she didn't like herself. She didn't like her narcissistic personality. It's kind of a weird way to think about it because narcissist is loving yourself, but sometimes those contradictions can happen, and I think that sometimes it's that contradiction that maybe makes people break down. And she realized that, and then that's why she changed herself and changed her memories so that she would no longer live in that contradiction.
Yeah.
Among other things, of course.
Yeah. Of course, it probably creates an arguably bigger contradiction, but that the mind's not necessarily rational.
Keep in mind it's subconscious, not conscious. Okay, there's no way someone can consciously change their memories unless, again, hypnotism. But another thing I like to note is that, of course, that this entire theory is broken down. It's challenged by the fact that she received a phone call from someone called Mari.
But keep in mind, she was alone.
Yeah, well, yeah. One person argued that maybe we're seeing it from her point of view, in which she was probably hallucinating it. But here's the thing: I think we're seeing this manga from more of a third person's point of view, like bird's eye, rather than from her direct point of view. Which means that whatever is happening is actually happening. Like, you don't see if there's a hallucination, she would see it, but we as the audience don't. And I think the easy answer for this one is that it was the sister Mari who was calling.
Maybe.
Keep in mind that what did she actually ask? Like, who are you, right? So maybe for whatever reason think about it. Yori has her cell phone number, right? So maybe she looked into her Yori's cell phone number and called this person who somehow had the same name as her, and then asked her, "Who are you?" As in, maybe, why are you hanging out with my sister? Or because you don't know what she's asking. I think she just asked, like, who are you and what are you, So she could be asking, who are you? And just because her name is Mari, accidentally, basically caused the Isao Mari to think that maybe that's the real Mari. But in reality, it was just pure coincidence.
Yeah, like I said, my own thought was like, it could be hallucination, but I think you might have something with that too. I said the main reason I was thinking to myself was like, The Walking Dead, the series. But before you say anything, I've actually been looking at the comic before here and there.
Yeah.
And there's a part where like the main character Rick, after his wife died, he picks up a phone. He's talking to the phone works. That, yeah. Okay. Yeah, he thinks he's getting phone calls, but it turns out that he's just hearing his own wife's voice, which is himself just hearing nothing from the phone at all.
What's really funny about that scene is that's like the second episode I ever saw. So I was so confused. I was like, is he actually talking to someone?
They do have that in the TV show then. Okay.
Yeah, they do have that in the TV show.
Okay, like I said, I mostly been looking at some of the comics here and there, like say when I'm like hanging out in the bookstore sort of thing.
What I've noticed about the comics is that even though there are differences, it will always rewrite itself to be the same. Or I mean,
Like
the
they
TV series.
they follow the same plot, but things will happen a bit differently.
Yeah, but it will always come back to the same thing.
Yeah, I think that's part of why I kind of like got interested in it, is because like um, normally I hate that. Like we were talking about Comic Got Killed a little bit ago. The anime does something completely different, but here it's like it's more or less like same events, different continuity kind of thing.
Well, that's what the game is. You know about the game, right?
They take place in the comic universe, right?
Yeah, but what they do is that you can choose your own way of your own direction. Like maybe you can kill this guy, you can save this guy, so everything's different. But at the same time, though, it always rewrites itself because maybe if you save this guy in chapter 1, he'll still die in chapter 5. So in the end, it ends up being exactly the same as if you chose to save his life, or I mean not save his life, or to kill him. I actually criticize that because it's obvious the reason why they can't make a whole story.
Yeah.
Because that's too much time to make a game. So no matter what you do in the series, even though it's an illusion, you think you have the choice to make a different direction for your character, but it will always come back to the same thing.
Yeah. Also, there is one other thing about the whole thing where Mari calls Isao. Kind of going back on topic. The way it's presented is almost like if there's like bad static or bad reception on the call.
Okay.
I don't know if that might be significant or not, but I took that to mean like maybe that's one. It could be a sign that it is a hallucination, or if it were Mori, which is what I was really more thinking at the time, they may just be in a whole different spot entirely somewhere. You said because if it was just a sister, like you were saying, calling him from Yori's phone, why would the reception seem to be so bad?
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, it's kind of why would the reception be so bad? I mean, and it wasn't a private number too. It was a private number.
Well, that's easy enough to do.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It said number withheld is what it did. Like I said, I do tech support for Verizon. I know exactly the trick to do that.
I don't.
Yeah.
But yeah. Look, the problem is that there's so many possibilities to explain everything. Everything. If honestly, if the creator wanted to go through any other theory, he could do it. He could write his way into doing it. It wouldn't be as good. But I think the issue is that he's let too many hints on. There's just too many hints that are pointing towards this direction. Even if you call it a red herring, it's bad writing because you can't do that. You can't basically make it so that everything is pointing to this one thing, and then out of nowhere just say, "Oh, it's this other thing" because of this one example versus the other 9 hints.
Yeah, true. I mean, like I said, depending on if the hints are something you can interpret, like they can go one way or the other, that might be one thing. But in this case, it seems like the hints are kind of going towards one direction.
Yeah, and I think that direction is that the Mari is different. And keep in mind, again, it's just think about it. Think about this as a overall view. Do you think Isao enjoys do you think Mari's life is good? Like in the sense that I know it's a first world problem, but I mean like in a sense like it's not that great, right? She hates her life, and Isao is seeing it from his quote unquote point of view that she hates that her life is horrible. So even as Isao, she hates her life. So like
here's something I did want to bring up here. Which now that I think about it, might kind of lead into this theory that it's still Mari. But you know the part where, not so much during the breakdown, but a little bit later, where she's basically telling off her parents, like saying, "Look at me, I'm here. The hell was cool."
Yeah.
Like I said, at first I thought that might have been Isao just projecting his issues through Mari to Mari's parents. Yeah. But now I'm not so sure about that.
I think that's Mari. I think that's a part of Mari saying, "This is me. I am Mari, not I am. This is what maybe before she was trying to prove her Mari's existence, and maybe she realized that if because they didn't acknowledge Mari's existence, that she would become someone else.
Yeah.
Maybe that existence would have more attention. I don't know.
And it may even explain why she attached to Isao, who pretty much did exactly that.
Yeah. I mean, Isao is basically a guy who's the complete opposite of her. That's probably why. And she realized that maybe if she doesn't enjoy this life, maybe the complete opposite would help. Which no, it doesn't. By the way, just want to put it out there. Yeah. And it's kind of interesting, and it's really weird. Also, when she actually finally does meet Isao, the real Isao, that the way they talk, the chemistry between each other, the way they talk to each other, the fact that they're playing video games together.
Yeah.
It feels weird, but at the same time, it also feels very distant. Is that very distant? Like, she's like, sure. Like when he asked her, "Do you want to play video games?" Like, sure, as if she was like, we'll play for one game.
Yeah.
It feels emotionally distant versus being, "Oh yeah, let's do it." It's just like, sure, I'll do it, or how she said it was her. Him joking off was gross. It's just like she just says one word, gross. and she just leaves. And then she says that one thing to herself. I feel bad for him when he said that. I think like, why does it matter? Why does it matter? Or what does she say to him?
Yeah. I don't know.
She said something really cold to him. It was like the last chapter. She said something really cold to him, and I felt bad for him. But it kind of felt to me that that's also something that Isao would not say, right? He would never say. He would never tell someone that, whether it be to himself or someone else. He would never say. He would never be that distant.
Yeah.
So I think this is Mari coming back. This is Mari, for whatever reason. Maybe she feels that being Isao is not working out.
Yeah, I think what you're looking for here, like right before she left, was like, Isao asked her to stay longer, and
she's like, "There's no point."
Was like, "Why should I? Why should I?"
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Right. So I think exactly. I think why should she? And I think that's kind of first off, I think how cold to him, and then I feel bad for him. But maybe she's saying, "Why should I stay in Isao's place?" As in, that's not my place. You know. As in saying that if she was Isao, maybe she want to stay there longer. But now that she's starting to come back, maybe she's realizing, this is not really my home. Right. I mean, it's just everything you can possibly look at. You can always interpret it as Mari is coming back, and that Mari has been in this. This has been Mari all along. And of course, the last panel, at that point it was just really obvious. I mean, how does she know that it's what Mari said to Yori? There's no other explanation. Unless you can obviously there's no other convoluted explanation that isn't convoluted. There we go. That's what I'm trying to say. So yeah, I mean, I think at this point, I'm pretty certain it's Mari. Like, it's been Mari the entire time, which is actually very unique for a gender bender or a body swap type of manga, and that's why I really pressing it for everyone, because it's such a unique read, very psychological, and although the plot twist is easily deducible, it's still
not easily deducible. Like, I don't say easily deducible. Like, there are hints, like you said, but a lot of them. How many of them are you only realizing in hindsight?
I made this theory when I was like in chapter 10, so I don't know about that, but I'm sure for a lot of people there was hindsight. But like, I mean, keep in mind that also I've been discussing this manga quite a bit.
So you probably
So I had some a lot extra information that I probably shouldn't have had. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, though, I mean, whether it be in hindsight or whether it be now, it's pointing all towards one direction. So I think we can pretty much say that it's been Mari. I mean, I'm sure if he pulls something out, then I'd like to see how he does it, But at this point, it seems to me that everything's starting to wrap up, and maybe we get to see who Mari really is. Because at this point, it's kind of funny. We've been exposed to many different types of Mari, and this is a manga about Mari, about inside Mari.
Yep.
But at the same time, though, we don't know who Mari really is. The question that we have to ask ourselves, I think the ultimate question is, who is Mari?
Right.
Because we still don't know.
And part of the reason we don't know is because she doesn't know.
Yeah. And that's the greatest. I think, and she's only getting information from Yori, the stalker, her friends who are bitches, her mother and father who are really weird. I think only her brother's the only one who's actually like kind of normal.
Right. The weirdest thing he did was try and go through her porno mags, which can't really blame him for.
Yeah. Yeah. And of course, Isao never met her, so she can't really get anything out of him.
Right.
So yeah, and maybe now that she's interacting with him, maybe she's finding out that maybe she doesn't want that life. Who knows? But yeah, there's a lot of things about this manga that I just really love. They just talking about. So yeah, we just basically summed up a lot of the series. I mean, obviously, and the chapters are really slow paced, and these kind of big reveals only happen like the last panel.
Right, because most of this was just them eating lunch.
Yeah, well, I enjoyed it too.
At the quote unquote, well, yeah, I know because that's your thing, but at the quote unquote Western restaurant.
That's amazing. But yeah, it's been great. I really enjoyed reading the series, and I really hope I don't want it to be dragged on for too long. Yeah. But I really hope we get some more good stuff out of it. Any more thoughts on this?
At the moment, not too much here. Like I said, one thing that does come to my mind because I was looking over some of the other earlier pages because while we're reviewing all this is there a possibility that real Isao could do something later? Like either for better or for worse.
Well, some people are saying that he might become the stalker that she always pictured him to be.
Right, like he might actually become an actual stalker. Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't think she knows him enough for him to actually. I don't know. I feel like
I don't think how much she knows him will make a problem with that. Because being a stalker doesn't necessarily mean the victim has to know the stalker.
No. What I'm saying is because she pictured him as a stalker before. So
Right.
maybe he showed signs of potential of becoming a stalker, but that's what I'm saying. Like I don't know. Like it can go, again. Some people are hypothesizing that it would be ironic, but at the same time though, I don't think he's not a bad person. That's what I'm gonna put out there. And honestly,
Yeah.
kind of sexist. It's kind of sexist because we have a stalker right here, Yori, and we don't seem to have much of a problem with her. In fact, she's kind of a bitch in my opinion.
Yeah. Who, Yori or Mari?
Yori.
Okay. And yeah, I'll agree with you on that.
So see, so
And it doesn't
yeah,
help that Isao is so submissive.
yeah. So I don't think he's a. I mean, if he's. I mean, a stalker is always technically dangerous, but he's not. I don't. But in hindsight, it's just, I don't see it him becoming a danger to Mari. You know, he
Yeah.
might be a nuisance. But he
Yeah.
won't be a danger.
At the very least, the Isao we saw at the beginning would not be for sure, because that's, like I said, that's my problem. Like the Isao we have now is not the Isao that, if this is all Mari, that Mari thought of. So it's hard to say for sure what could happen with that.
Yeah, and I think that's already showing. That's already showing me the imperfection in her copying of,
Yeah.
and that's also showing me that it's not a Sal, right?
True.
And there's a theory that someone's pretending Mari pretending to be Sal, but there's no way. I just don't see it. Oh yeah, that's what I was getting at.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, because like I thought about that as well. Like maybe Mari is just in Isao actually playing dumb, but it's not enough. Like she acts too much like Isao does to do that. Like how would, like, go back to chapter like whatever
yeah.
when they
Okay.
first seen Isao for the first time. Like Mari Isao exactly described how he was like jacking off.
Yeah, but I think this may be what I was trying to get at. I'm not sure because my memory is all over the place right now. I'm trying
Yeah.
to think of everything. But keep in mind that Isao saw Mari and had no reaction whatsoever the first time he met her, as in real Isao.
Yeah.
No reaction, and his when he finally does know who she is, like that's not his. He acts as if it was just a guy who found out a girl was crazy and wanted to know about him.
Yeah.
So that couldn't possibly be Mari behind that face. Otherwise, she's like the best actress in the world.
True. And like I said, like at first I was saying, like I said, there's also like how Isao pretty much proved his identity to Yori. But then again, that could go both ways in a sense because he did it by exactly describing what the real Isao was doing, which
Yeah, well, if you
Stalker
think of
Mari
it-
would have been able
No.
to do just fine.
Yeah, with binoculars too. So
Yeah.
yeah. So I think that's it. Maybe there's more I just can't remember because again, I'm trying to summarize my theories on 42 chapters of a really psychological manga.
Right.
But yeah, I think I said it a lot. So yeah, well, I think we'll end it at that then.
Yeah, it sounds like a good spot to me. Like I said, we'll see next month how the story continues. Like if this whole reveal is a red herring or if there is something more to it, like we think there is.
I think there's just too many hints for a red herring. Like there's
Yeah.
just too much. Like a red herring is only good when it's like one or two hints. Like a hint itself can be a red herring, but like 10 hints cannot make a red herring's conclusion. You know, that's just ridiculous. I will say though that the manga is released by every 2 weeks.
Oh, that's right. 2
usually-
weeks. I thought it was monthly like a comic, but you're right. It's every 2 weeks.
It's every 2 weeks. It's done usually in the December, like the 5th or 6th of every month, and then the 15th or 16th of every month. So that's usually when he does it. So
Okay.
first and third week.
Yeah, so we'll probably be doing a new video for that as soon as the new chapter comes out then.
Yep.
Meantime, we'll have to see how. Meantime, we'll just keep an eye on comments, maybe track some theories, maybe see if there's anything else that we haven't considered yet and bring that up next time as well.
Yeah.
Right. Meantime, I think we're all set to go here. This has been chapter 42 of Inside Mari. Hope you all enjoyed. Like I said, we'll be back with this next time the next chapter comes out. In the meantime, we'll have more Bleach and One Piece and Attack on Titan if it comes out first.
Yep. Okay then. Bye.